Hey guys, I'm Laura. We're just waiting a little bit until other people join. Hi guys, I'm just letting people in. We're just waiting for everyone to join and then we can get started. I'll give it 2 minutes and then we can get started. Okay, well, I think we can get started. It's much nicer if everyone just turns on their cameras if you can. I'm Laura Vicaria. I'm the CSR manager of Jeans. Super nice to have you guys here. So what I will do, Bert, our CEO, he might join us a little bit later, but let's just get started because the more time we have, the more questions you guys can ask. So that's nice. And I apologize because I have some wobbly internet. So just let me know if you can't hear me at one point or anything like that. So the way this works is that I will just go through the list of people that I can see here on our list of participants. I'll call out your name. You can briefly introduce yourself, say like what you're working in and why you're interested in Jeans. And then you can ask a question. And since it's just a couple of us here today, there's probably going to be a couple of rounds, but you'll notice that other people will have similar questions to what maybe is already on your list. I encourage you to, ciao Bert, I encourage you to, also check out our website, our sustainability report and things like that. It will contain a lot of information. So, I hope that you guys are going to be asking some of the tougher questions, not exactly how Jeans is circular, but maybe more detailed type of things. So don't feel intimidated to ask those tougher questions because that's what we're here for. Okay. So, and I apologize for mispronunciations in advance. My apologies. Just let me know how to pronounce your name. Bert, did you want to say anything before I reach out?
I'm okay. I'm just trying to find a quiet spot, but keep going. You're doing great.
Cool.
I'll join in just a second.
Yeah, Bert is our CEO, so it's also really cool that he's here. All right, Fatumah, go for it.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Fatumah, and I go to the International School of Groningen, in Groningen, obviously. And I do the IB program. and I'm working on a report in global politics and engagement activity about sustainability. And that's why I was interested in Mud Jeans, obviously, because it's a sustainable corporation. And I wanted to ask a few questions under some of the topics I've been studying, like human rights or like government laws and issues and questions like that. So if I may, can I ask the question maybe?
Yep, start with your first one, your most
So-
important one.
Okay, so my most important question was if, like, are there any environmental regulations that industries in the fashion section are supposed to follow that you as a Mud Jeans company are following? Like any laws or regulations about the environment?
Well, within the European Union, there are laws and regulations that all companies need to follow in general. And we, of course, follow those. But and those, especially when it comes to, that is specific to the type of chemicals that can be used in production, etc. But we, of course, go beyond that. And we make sure to use no toxic chemicals. We have a set DHC specific chemical policy. We regulate the type of production processes that we work with. So, for example, our supply chain partners use renewable energy. Where our jeans are made, they're able to recycle 95% of the water. Things like this that go beyond and above and beyond just the standard regulations for chemicals and that type of processes. I don't know if you have a particular regulation that you wanted to ask me about specifically. But
Well, not really, just like a general thing. Like,
Yeah, we can add something to that.
Yeah.
Laura. We also, there's new laws coming into the European Union, and one of them will be extended producer responsibility. So we are far ahead of this, and it's good because other companies have to follow now. It means that you're responsible what you put onto the market and the life after that. So we do that already. So in most of the cases, we are way ahead, far beyond what the laws are asking us. And there's one other thing. No, I think this is it. But yeah, we are also in the denim deal, where companies, we signed it because we feel like sort of obliged, but it's nonsense for us. Where textile companies promise that in 5 years' time they will have at least 5% recycled content in their products, which of course we have 40% now in all our products. There again, we are way ahead, and this is not even law. It's just an agreement that companies made in between themselves. So the law is far behind what it should be, but that takes time, I'm afraid. Does that answer your question?
yes, it does very much. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
yes, let's do that.
Giovanni?
Yeah, Giovanna.
Okay, Giovanna, sorry.
Okay. I'm Johanna, and I'm a student of the University of Padua. I'm studying chemical engineering, and I'm doing my thesis work on a circular index for OVS, that is a fast fashion industry.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I'm looking which tissue are recyclable, the recyclable processes that exist at the moment.
Mhm.
But I have some problem with the zip and bottoms. And so I want to know more about if they can be recycled, or if you are studying a way to recycle them, or they will never be recycled, or yeah.
Yeah, that's a big item on our to-do list, and we're working towards it. So our buttons are made from stainless steel, and we were already working, well, before the pandemic happened or COVID happened, we had in line the possibility of working with a social enterprise that could remove the buttons so that we can recycle them. But the first step was really to change those buttons to a product or a material that was made from a single type of metal, which is now the case. They're made up of stainless steel. We work with a manufacturer called Burning.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of zippers, that's more complicated for the only reason that typically the zipper tape is made out of polyester, and then the metal part is a mix of multiple types of metals, which is not always, it's difficult to track what goes in there. We are trying to find a supplier that can have a good solution for this. It's in the process. In fact, just last week, we were going back and forth with a potential supplier, but then it didn't quite click for us. What they were doing is making instead of polyester, they used organic cotton, which is already a great first step, but there wasn't really a clear answer towards the metals that were being used in the actual zipper part. We don't really want to use plastic because that's almost counterproductive. So that is a challenge in that part, finding suppliers that can fit our model. Bert, I don't know if you had anything to add.
No, we do what we try to make our jeans in circular design. So we do pay attention as much as we can to make it easy for ourselves to, when we get the goods back, recycle everything. But yeah, the metal parts are being recycled, but it's more difficult. And we've been already making steps forward, like Laura said, with deleting the plastic parts in the button, things like that. So yeah, every step of the production we try to do better, but there's still here some ground to win. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I was going to ask you, did it answer your question?
Yes.
Johanna?
Hi, my name is Johanna and I study in Tallinn University. Actually, I'm from Estonia. So can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you.
My question is that what are common complaints from the customers when renting clothes?
Not only renting, general complaints for jeans there's a long list. The fit is not correct. You name it, the color is not correct. Nothing is correct. It's very hard to sell a pair of jeans, especially when you're a new brand. And if your question is especially to renting, is that what you mean? People want to have more service. You know, they prefer to rent for maybe 1 month or 2 months. We only offer 12 months. Which of course I understand, but we have to make it much more expensive, if I would say, for 6 months. You know, because for us the logistics are expensive. To send back and forth jeans, to clean them, to wash them is not our business. That's more like a real renting firm, like if you rent a tuxedo or something like that. We just want to do lease jeans with the idea in mind to have the raw material back after use. So there's a little bit of confusion for that. But mostly people understand. We explain well on our site what we are doing and why we are doing it. So it's not a complaint, it's more a question, you know, if we could do shorter terms or longer terms or things like that, or people that say, for instance, that they have gained in weight and they want to change their size, or people lost weight and they want to change sizes. But again, there for us, it's commercially not possible to answer all these questions and to come to this service.
Okay.
So we try to, you know, we are a small company or a startup. We are, well, no, okay, we exist now 10 years, but we try to make things also economically possible so that we can be there also next year and still run this company and trying to make a small profit to be able to improve the recycling of cotton and to make better quality and higher quality and more models and things like that. We have a shop in Tallinn actually selling our jeans.
What's the name of the shop?
I don't know by heart. You have to find it on our store finder.
Okay.
We made a deal half a year ago with an agent in Estonia, I think, who is now doing the Baltic states for us and Finland. So he has some success in some stores. I think one in Tallinn also, if I'm not mistaken. I have to double check for you.
Impressive. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Leah, I know you're our newest intern, but if you have any questions, I mean, I think this is also a really nice platform, like introduction to mud jeans. So no
Yes.
pressure. You don't have to ask anything. But if you have questions,
Yes, Leah.
feel free.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Tell me what you do, Leah. What
Um,
kind of studies do you do? In Maastricht, right?
Yes, Maastricht. Yes, I'm Lea. I'm from Germany, but I have studied in Maastricht, sustainability science. And that's how I also came to mud jeans, because I also had an interview with Laura for my thesis. Yeah, thinking about a spontaneous question for me, I think it would be more general, since I'm so interested in the sustainable fashion area. How do you get started in this? Because I think from moment zero, you can't be an expert in sustainable fashion. So how do you get educated in this? How do you get to a position?
You
like
just jump into it. I mean, I think you had the
Yeah.
privilege to maybe study in that specifically. I also studied in Maastricht, but more at the United Nations University there, and actually specialized more in environmental policy and things like that. But I always wanted to bring together my two passions, which is fashion and sustainability. So really, I think that there isn't like a course or like a career, a university career. I think now more and more there's courses that you can do at university on fashion and sustainability, which is great, but you don't necessarily have to have that background. I think what you're doing already, like you're taking this internship and you're learning already a lot. It's also about reading. There's a lot of great books, documentaries, and also courses online. So for example, I took the caring course. I think it's in Future Learn, if I'm not mistaken, or Coursera. And that was a really great one because they touch on everything, including circularity. So yeah, I think it's actually a really exciting time right now to be part of that world because it's really going up exponentially. So that's really cool.
And we have now also our certificate, right, at Mud Jeans, where you as a student can answer questions and get a certificate. Danique knows more about this, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. Myself and yeah, another member of our team, we are developing a course that's specifically focused because COP26 is happening, but it touches on all of these top questions, which is what's fast fashion, what's mud jeans doing, the role of partnerships, and the importance of responsible businesses. So our world with our interaction with B Corp, all of these really great topics which highlight yeah, what goes into having a sustainable brand. Cool.
Next one.
Yeah, let's start again from the beginning. Fatumah, any second question?
Yes, I do. So as I was reading the report, I came across a page that talks about the Sustainable Development Goals, which is actually something we're learning right now. But I wanted to focus on the part of basically human rights. Like, how do you ensure like workers are safe in your working place? Like, do you consider their basic human rights like income or like equality, things like that? I just wanted to get more insights on that point.
So yes, we have a code of conduct that specifically links to ILO regulations. So it's not just us coming up with our own policies, but it touches on basic human rights and specifically workers' rights. So it is things like safe and good working conditions. If you're curious to read some of the aspects, we touch on our sustainability report, which you have read. But if you're really interested to know exactly what we talk about, on our website, we have our code of conduct. I can also send it to you if you guys want. I'll share my email here. And if you need any additional documents, just email me and I'll send them to you. Our code of conduct. And there you will have everything specifically laid out of what are the different regulations that we expect from our suppliers. So we ask all of our suppliers to sign this document. And I think it's super important to mention that we have a really short supply chain. So unlike other brands, when we talk about suppliers, we know who they are. We've visited the facilities. We have a direct communication with them. And this is very unique as a brand. If you think of an Inditex brand, whatever, Zara or Massimo Dutti or an H&M, they have so many suppliers that they have no idea who they are, where they're located, whether they have subcontractors or not. And that's the really difficult part when it comes to the human rights aspect, because you cannot track how people are being treated, whether their rights are being protected, etc. But to answer your question fully, that in addition to that, so, we have this close interaction. I, for example, was 3 weeks ago, in one of our suppliers' location in Tunisia, where our jeans are cut, stitched, and washed. So I saw firsthand how people are there, and they're really in great, fantastic conditions. But third, and this is important, and when you're looking at sustainable brands, if you want to make sure that they're sustainable brands, is that they go beyond just, hey, we checked, we do, blah, 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 but they have a third party verifier or party reviewing all of this work. So all of our suppliers have third party audits that are in parallel to our code of conduct. For example, Ustex International, again, the same factory I visited, they are audited by GOTS. So same as GOTS Cotton, they're one of the top certificates that you can get in sustainability. And they look at things such as, yes, lots of environmental aspects, water, chemicals, etc., but also fair wages, good working conditions, healthy conditions, treatment of employers, etc., etc. So it's really not just us saying it, but really a third party reviewing and saying, yes, all of this is correct. And my final point, and then I'll stop talking, we're also part of the SLCP. And they are it's an open platform. So all of our suppliers can complete an audit there that is reviewed, and everyone can see what their audit looked like. So through this approach, again, it's a very transparent way of seeing the condition of all of the suppliers. Yeah, I hope this answered your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Super. Giovanna.
Okay. Yeah. Buongiorno. Okay, I have another question about recycle, about the content of elastan in the jeans that goes to recycle. I know that elastan gives problem for the color, and as it is a thermo-endurant, I know, it degrades with temperature. But can you give me more details about it?
Right, I am not a textile engineer, but I can tell you the reason for our choice in only using 2% elastan. So as you may know, we currently have a percentage of post-consumer recycled cotton between 23 and 40%. And some of our jeans contain elastan, but we would only limit this to 2%, because when that fiber is blended in with the cotton again, if we have higher levels than that 2%, then we are contaminating that fiber to fabric durability issues along the way. So really, we have to control that when we can't have a higher percentage than that. Bert, I don't know if you have something to add.
No, it's also that the dye stuff, maybe you said this already, doesn't
Absorb.
connect the same way on cotton as on elastan. So that's where you get the differences and these
That's a good one, yeah.
irregularities. So yeah, the best in recycling, the best quality you can make when you have a 100% mono stream of raw material. Absolutely, that's in all cases for you interesting, necessary to make something recyclable. That's also one of the challenges they have with plastics. There's so many different qualities in plastic that it's very difficult to recycle if you start mixing them. But you know this already, I think.
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome.
Super. Johanna?
I'm seeing if I...
Oh, we can't hear you. I don't know if you're muted. Yeah, you're muted.
She's all the way from Estonia, so it's far away.
There you go.
In the meantime, I was looking for a store in Tallinn. I think we didn't start there yet.
Why do you think why are consumers driven to rent clothes, and why would they choose one company over another?
Well,
this is
yeah. Well, you know, renting or leasing or however you want to call it, it's the aspect of taking something, a business model of fashion and turning it into a service. And that's something that more and more people are getting accustomed to. I think Bert can talk a lot about this better than I do. But back when he started Mud Jeans, people were quite shocked about the idea of leasing a pair of jeans because back then it wasn't so common to think this way. Now we have the car share, the e-cultras, the Netflix, the Spotify, all of these services that we as society have been more accustomed to that way of thinking. We are also increasingly having higher levels of environmental anxiety. We know that this shit is real and that it's coming and that we all have a role to play in it. And fashion is a very powerful tool to do that. It really shapes our culture, our way of being. It's expressive, it's individualistic. So if you're able to choose a product that reflects your climate objectives, it says a lot. Now, why would you choose one over the other? Well, this really depends on your individual liking, but also it depends on the product that you're selling or renting, right? You can find people renting out leather jackets. You can find people renting out jeans. You can find people renting out their Gucci bags. And all of these are different products. Some are high luxury products, so you can send the product back and forth and use it for 2 weeks and send it back, and it doesn't impact that product that much. The bag, for example. A leather jacket is different. It also has a different type of longevity of life and wear and tear, while a pair of jeans is very individual. It fits to your body. The more you wear it, it fits to your body, and it's also very personal. So people tend to wear that product much more. It becomes very complicated, as Bert already explained, having to lease a product on a monthly basis, for example. So, and that also has to do with the lifespan of that product. These are just a few examples, but I hope they helped to answer your question. Bert?
Yeah, maybe I can add something to that the reason we do this, we are now selling to about 300 stores in 30 countries. And we have our own web shop, which is doing the other half of the turnover, on which we lease jeans. We are starting with shops also, but let's say only our web shop. And about 30% of the people lease their jeans there. So the biggest part of our business is selling jeans. And the reason we did the leasing was that we thought, okay, we are making beautiful jeans of organic cotton, and we want to have this organic cotton back because we want to recycle it. And there's 2 ways to get your jeans back. One is give a deposit, so people get €10 deposit or discount when they send back their old jeans. And the other idea was to make, say lease a jeans is an idea of getting the raw material back. So it's more of a thought of raw material than really a service to the customer. And many people, when they read about it, they think the service part is the most important part of us, which is also fine. And it also made our brand very famous in the world because we offer this leisure jeans. But it's not the biggest part of our business. You know, we try to change the jeans industry, and leisure jeans is only a small part of it. And what we try to do is make less collections. We make essentials. We don't make collections every season. We use a factory where people are treated right. You know, it's the whole thing. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Welcome. And
Super.
by the way, the shop is not in Tallinn. I'm sure. Excuse me. It's in Riga. There's a store selling our jeans, so it's a little bit far away for you.
Yeah, it's in different country.
I know. But for us, Estonia, Lithuania, the three countries are, of course, we name them as one. You know, you understand. I know it's. I don't want to be impolite to you, but
I understand. I totally understand it. Thank you.
okay.
Leah, do you have anything you want to ask? Additional?
Yeah, sure. Maybe looking at impact measurement and your journey with that. Let's say you're a young company with not a lot of funds, but you do want to measure your impact or through that way also reduce it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that, I mean, you're using EcoChain. Would you say that's a realistic way of measuring your impact if you have limited funds and time, or what other way would you suggest otherwise to measure and reduce your impact?
I can answer this one.
Go for it.
It's actually EcoChain came to us. They were not in the textile business at all. They came from the building industry, and they wanted to enter the textile industry. So we were more or less for them their guinea pig, and that's why we got an extremely good deal with them. So we put a lot of effort and time in it, but we didn't pay a lot for it. We paid a very fair amount for their services. Now, once they are going and they are into the textile industry, the next companies that are going to ask for their services are paying 10 times more. So we had a very good deal. And we often have this kind of things because we are front runner in circularity. We very often see companies that have a new idea or a new IT thing or something new. For instance, a fit tool. They often come to us and they know that we as a company have a lot of publicity and a lot of things. So we use this also to get good deals and be a front runner and even be a guinea pig. You know, we are able to make some mistakes. It doesn't really matter. We're a small company. We can still, and our customers understand also that this is sometimes try and error. Of course, our products have to be fantastic, but on this kind of things, we can play around and discuss very good deals. We do the same now with Text Tracer, right? Mm-hmm. You know, the lady that comes, they really want us to work with them. And well, they gave us a very good offer, I think. So it's trying to be smart in business also.
Yeah, but that also goes hand in hand with being a front runner. So if you are a type of company that is really excelling in your industry or in your sector, which is the case for Mud Jeans, then you can very easily, so to speak, try to find those deals because, as Bert explained, they want to use you as a guinea pig, particularly because you're small and you can test things out. And so that's really interesting.
Same goes also, sorry to interrupt you, with our material supplier. When they have a new technique, now like they did with the new way of dyeing denim, it's called the one with the mist. What's the name again, Laura?
Foam dyeing, dry
foam
indigo.
dyeing. They tried it first with us. They weren't sure of the technique. They had to try it out. And we were able to test it for them on the market, and it's great. It saves a lot of water, and we were the first to launch this on the market. So it makes us also stronger, but also we are very flexible with bigger companies to do this kind of thing.
Yeah. All right, ladies, one more round, and then that's it.
We call it a day.
We call it a day. We call it a Monday. So ask your final most important question. Fatumah, go for it.
Okay, so as I was going through my jeans, I realized they're a little bit costly. So I wanted to ask, like, does the price of the jeans determine like the expenses of making sure that they're 100% sustainable?
Yes, Bert, I think you're always good about talking about the costs of things.
I'm just typing something.
So while he types, or go for
I
it.
think, sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, of course, yes. The answer is yes, because well, Bert can always expand on this, but if you think about the cost of organic cotton, that's also, skyrocketing right now. It is more expensive to use post-consumer recycled cotton than to use conventional cotton. So these two things alone already bring up the price quite a lot. When you're talking about paying people fair wages and working with suppliers that automatically, for example, share your values, and by extension, that means that they respect their workers, and by extension, it means that they pay their workers correctly, then again, that's also reflected in the price of a pair of mud jeans. That's why it costs what it costs, because that's the real cost of producing something.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I think, and there's also, for example, a cost of innovation, all of the little things such as the foam dyeing, the recycling of the water, using renewable energy, all of these things, implementing these
Indigo.
techniques, they are costs that are then reflected in the final product.
And
Bert?
most people ask us why we still can be so cheap by doing all this. So we get the other question also. And with the Lisa jeans paying $9.95 per month for 12 months, I thought it gives for students also possibility to still buy a good pair of jeans without being charged in one time 120 euros. But yeah, I don't know if that's true. But yeah, our competitors buy our jeans roughly 3 times cheaper in Bangladesh or in Pakistan.
Yeah.
The Zara's and the H&M's, the Levi's, the G-Stars.
Yeah. Johanna?
I don't really have other questions.
No worries.
That's good.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Then we go to Estonia.
Yes.
Last question, Johanna.
Yeah.
And then you can make a fantastic thesis.
I was wondering, do you think that sharing economy is really cost effective? Because there has been like recent insights that critical insights that the topic is not so cost effective, and all the sharing economy is not so cost effective.
Yeah, you talk about the
I
article.
want to know your opinion.
You talk about the article in the English paper. What's the name again?
The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Yes. So, okay. First of all, we didn't publish this thing, Bert. We should have. Okay.
Yeah,
that study was really frustrating because, or especially that article, because it highlights, yes, one of the biggest limitations, so to speak, of the sharing economy that article talks about is the fact that you're sending products back and forth and that it has an environmental cost. That is a problem, but there's a solution to it that we can find. However, what the article fails to talk about is the amount of resources that you are saving by sharing that article. So that study did not talk about the environmental cost of growing cotton for each and individual new product, instead of having that one pair of jeans and having, well, we don't do this, but for example, having that one pair of jeans and having 10 people wear that pair of jeans in a lifetime, instead of having 10 people buy 10 new pairs of jeans. It fails to make this environmental comparison. And that is the biggest aspect, because, and the most upsetting thing is that raw materials is the most costly environmental thing in any production process in fashion. And by completely disregarding that, then you're completely really weakening your study of what what is the benefit of that sharing economy? And the benefit is that you are saving the need of that new. That is my overview to you, to that question. And I think that study was really weak. Bert?
And I also forget to say, for instance, that people like our company in Holland, we deliver your jeans booked online by bike. So, you know, there's many different ways of delivering goods, and there's many smart ways now. So no, that was not a good item. But, you know, the sharing economy is not the solution for me. The solution for me is a circular economy, and be smarter with, you know, or the donut economy like Kate Rayworth describes it. And part of it can be sharing things, you know. We need a lot of solutions.
Yep, not only one, exactly. All right, Leah, final thoughts?
Leah can talk to us every day.
Yeah, it's fine. Considering it's a Monday.
Yeah,
I don't have a question for now. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I like your headphones, Leah. They look good.
Yes, thank you. I'm trying not to disturb the office.
No, don't worry. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I think Bert also popped in a lot of information there in the chat. So go ahead and use that discount code. And my email's also there. So Fatumah, this is especially for you. Just drop me an email and remind me, but I'll send you the chemical policy, and that links a lot on the regulations and the code of conduct. I'm happy to send you those things. And if any of you have other questions, you can always email me, all right?
We also have an ambassador program. Of course, you help us a lot if you like things on Instagram, things like that, share things. That helps our little company a lot to grow our business. So thank you for that.
Cool.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.